Investment banking revenue, though, like many others, falling 41%. Sharp drop in underwriting, decline that had been well telegraphed. Yes, clients steer clear of capital markets. Analysts were looking for a fall of 46%, so not as bad as the market was looking for Goldman. Strong quarter pretty much across the board. I was going through them earlier. Jumping back to Bank of America. BAC, so they're up about 75 cents this morning. Not quite the reaction of Goldman, but higher prices following the extension with the market on Friday. Bank of America getting into their numbers. The headline, as CNBC puts it, revenue tops expectations. They benefit from higher interest rates. Earnings dropping 32%. Not bad, though. $6.25 billion, 73 cents a share from a year earlier. They had some provisions for credit losses in there, $523 million. Revenue, though, climbing 5.6%, $22.79 billion in revenue in 90 days. Net income, there you go, surging 22%, $12.4 billion. Not bad, making $12.4 billion on just net income interest for that company. So they make 78 versus 75. They take in 22.79 versus 22.67 billion. Slight beats across the board, and they're trading a little bit higher this morning as well. All right, let's jump around to some of those FANG stocks and see how we're going to trade things off. Very interesting to open so much higher in the S&P, and meanwhile we have the VIX that gives no pause whatsoever as we really come into earnings in a big way. Why not? Let's jump over to Netflix shares. Netflix catching a lift this morning. You're up $4 from $189.11 to about $193. This thing was the worst performing stock in the S&P 500 in the first 6 months of the year. Sometimes you think Netflix is getting all the headlines, right? Because they have on the way up as well. But no, out of all 500 companies, even the ones that we don't know about, and there's been some doozies that have gotten hammered in the first 6 months, Netflix was the worst performing stock in the S&P 500 for the first 6 months. They've caught a little bit of a lift. Now, Netflix, they got their numbers out tomorrow, I believe after the bell. You jump over the market. Now, I believe this is going to recalibrate on the open here because options reprice on the open. They are not trading right now pre-market. So any of the numbers we're looking at in terms of if you go over to trade, you're talking about implied volatility for the weekly. That was probably as of the close on Friday. So that number, if you're ever looking at these pre-market, that's going to include weekend volatility. Okay, so in theory, that number should probably tick down on the open because that number was predicated on the options that expire Friday as of the close of last Friday. Okay, but as you can see, some volatility for Netflix as of Friday. If you wanted to get into this thing, you were looking for almost a $28 move in either direction for Netflix shares as they come out with their numbers. And boy, the last time they came out with their numbers, man, it was a one-way trip off a cliff. And then we jumped to Tesla. Is that what I said? I think so, right? Yeah, then Tesla is out Wednesday with their numbers. So Tesla, you're talking about as of Friday. Let's jump over. There's a move for you, $56. So not quite 10%. You know, not as big percentage-wise as Netflix in terms of the number they'll be looking for. But nonetheless, that number will probably come down a bit. That would have incorporated the weekend volatility. And Tesla will be out Wednesday with their numbers. We got a bunch of companies out with their numbers on Thursday as well. Stay tuned, folks. We got the S&P up 28 points. We got about 15 minutes till the opening bell. I'll be right back in 3 minutes.
Vista Gold owns and operates the largest undeveloped gold project in Australia, the Mount Todd Gold Project. Vista Gold just completed their feasibility study, resulting in a 7 million ounce gold reserve. Vista Gold has all major permits approved and has retained CIBC capital market assistance in evaluating alternatives and in completing an accretive transaction. Vista Gold trades on the NYSE American and TSX under the ticker symbol VGZ. Vista Gold, executing a strategy to create shareholder value.
Everything in the universe is governed by the Fibonacci sequence. This mathematical principle is responsible for everything from the most aesthetically pleasing artwork to patterns in the stock market. To stay on top of stock patterns you can take advantage of, sign up for the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter at TFNN.com. When you subscribe, you'll get a weekly report from veteran day trader Larry Pesavento on stocks you need to pay attention to. And you can trust Larry's analysis. After all, he's got 45 years experience as a day trader. Larry will also provide daily charts, videos, and data on the key markets that he's tracking. Expect notifications from Larry on market movement you need to act on at any time. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. Subscribe to the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter today. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den, hosted at Discord. TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. We got about 12 minutes to go until the opening bell. You got the S&Ps holding up relatively well. You're up about 31 points right now. That's 0.8% in the green. NASDAQ 100, you're up almost a full percent. You were as high as 12,180. Even right now, just shy of a full percent, up 115 points. Dow up 0.9% right now, 277 points in the green. We jump over to that VIX, as I was talking about. You have the VIX just not pairing any of the gains. You're sitting at about 25. You close Friday's action at about 24. Meanwhile, we got positive market action all over the board. All right, let's jump around to see what some of what I had pulled up here. Let me find the right screen for you. Okay, where are we going to start things off? I got a few cool articles up here. Let's see. So that's the Goldman we're talking about. Yeah, the dollar index. So we are down on the dollar index. You're trading at 107.52. You're down 53 ticks. We were as high on Thursday is 108.54 about. You closed out Friday 108.06, so we're pairing some of those gains again. Still very elevated levels. You take a look at the dollar index on the 6-month chart, right? Yeah, no real pause in the acceleration to higher prices right now going on there. Year to date even, you back things up. You're talking about going from February at 96 to 108 right now. So we are under that level barely, but just off the highs in the dollar index. Okay, what do we got pulled up? Yeah, check this one out. This is going to be an interesting one. Now, Direction is a sponsor. They didn't send me this or anything. I was just reading this weekend. So Wall Street said for new ETF gold rush, a single stock era begins. This is going to be an ETF for everything, and it'll be interesting to see the implications that this could have on the market when you just experience volatility. We all know. You know, we talk about the chicken and the egg, right? You buy the ETF's got to buy the futures. So it can build momentum sometimes, as in you're buying ETF, that's forced buying in the market, but guess what happens when they're selling? Well, nonetheless, now you're going to have single stock ETFs with multiple earnings. Just like you have a double bull QQQ index, you're going to have a double bull Tesla ETF, or you're going to have a 1.5 bear Tesla ETF. So this is the article I was reading this weekend. Okay, Wall Street set for new ETF gold rush. It talks about that single stock ETFs are coming. 3,000 products are already offered with $6.2 trillion in assets in ETFs. ETF for everything. So what it gets into is that you have 8 products from AXS Investments. They're going to start things off. That's going to seek to enhance or invert the performance of a volatile company. So they're going to have Tesla, and I'm going to jump over to the other article that actually lists what they have, but you're talking about Tesla, NVIDIA, PayPal. Toroso Investments offers a layer on a bullish option strategy in order to boost returns. Okay, so it's going to be multiples upon multiples on single stocks. Now, the key here is they even say these are for sophisticated traders, okay? We say it all the time with direction products, folks. Active traders, they're not products to buy and hold. They're daily investment vehicles, okay? If you're trading a stock like PayPal, I can understand why if you are actually trading it on a daily basis, these might be beneficial. Hopefully, people do not get sucked into buying and holding because that's a recipe for disaster in some of these ETFs, the way that they trade. Now, there's 85 more such ETFs currently planned than the 8 that AXS or X, what's the product AXS Investments has. I think they list them here. Here they do. So Innovator, I guess, comes out with one. Then you have AXS coming out February 9th. No, sorry, that's the initial filing date. Okay, they have 18. Direction is going to have the most at 24. Granite Shares 20, Curve 20, Toroso 10. Now, getting into some of the numbers, okay, this is an article that also talks about this, and this was from when? July 14th, so last week. Bearish Tesla bet is going to be among the first single stock ETFs to hit the U.S. This talks about the AXS 8 funds that are launching. Now, SEC officials warn of their risks, not products for buy and hold investors, as I had mentioned. Okay, now what are the products they're going to have? Check out some of the products they're going to have. They're going to have a Tesla Bear daily. They're going to have a NVIDIA 1.25, right? They got 1.25. They have a 1.5 bull PayPal. They have a 1.5 bear PayPal. They have a 2 times Nike, a 2 times negative bear Nike, and then they have a 2 times bull Pfizer and a 2 times bear Pfizer. So you can imagine, just as a quick glimpse of what is going to come down the pipeline, there's really no reason that they're not going to have every single equity is probably going to have at least the equities that we all know that we trade that are very volatile. If a fund is able to have volatility, I imagine why not put an ETF out there that's double any? I mean, every S&P 500 stock it's probably a matter of when, not if, they all have ETFs that are bears and bulls. Now, what's the implication of that on the longer term? I hope the SEC study that or something, because that seems like that could amp up volatility even more if every single stock has an ETF that's an options layered bull to enhance that bull up to a 1.5 or even a 2 times. Why not make it a 3 times, right? We've seen the regulators frown upon when they ramp it up too much. But what's the reason? I mean, what's the difference between 2 times, 3 times, 4 times if it really is a daily investment vehicle and you understand the risks implied in that? Pretty remarkable that they're coming down the line. So obviously a race to market. We see how these things go. When you're first to market, you get all of it, and then it's tough for anybody to catch up. But they're going to have some Tesla, some PayPal, and that's going to be the start of it. And that'll be interesting to see how that plays out for sure. Direction, our sponsor, 24th. They do have some great products, man. Interesting to see them plowing into that as well. But as I said, if you're in that industry, I mean, if that's allowed, why would you pause at all? Why would you not launch 500 ETFs? Why would you not launch 1,000 ETFs and have a bull and a bear for each S&P 500 stock? And then, you know what? Launch 1,000 more and have a double bull and a double bear for every S&P 500 stock. There's 2,000 ETFs you can launch instantly. And maybe some catch fire. And if you're the one that gets all the volume in the beginning, you can make a lot of money in that industry, as we know, with fees on big money. All right, now let's jump around to some of what we're talking about on crypto first. Coinbase. So they're getting a lift today with the crypto sector. All right, I would stay away from Coinbase, folks. So Bitcoin had a great weekend. You're up from 53.24 to 57.14. There was some news on Friday I saw potentially, and I do not know if this had an impact, but I saw somebody tweet it, and I should look it up more, that they were ending their affiliate program where you could, sign up a new account and they'll give you $5 or something like that. And the person tweeting it, I'll see if I can find it later in the show, was talking about, this could be a liquidity deal where they're really just trying to shore up their investments, not spending money that they don't want to. But if you're telling me you can't spend $5 to acquire new accounts, and you're supposed to be this type of a growth company, That's problematic in a big way. Now, look at some of the numbers that Coinbase has here, okay? They may drop from the ranks of the top crypto exchanges as volume falls. They only have something like 2%. Where are their numbers? Here we go. 2.9% average market share among the top 30 exchanges globally so far this month. That's down from 3.6% in the second quarter of this year and down from 5.3% in the first quarter of this year. They've almost lost half of their market share on a global basis. That's a big problem for them, folks. And when they're struggling anyway with crypto, and you're talking about an exchange that has the multiples they are, and you're supposed to be growing, and meanwhile, international exchanges are eating your lunch to the tune of 2.9%, I would not be trading Coinbase even if I wanted to trade crypto. All right, folks, S&P's up 32. We'll be right back when the market opens.
Of booming inflation, where your purchasing power is eroded, there's no better place to protect your hard-earned money than in gold. Vista Gold's flagship asset is the Mount Todd Gold Project in the Northern Territory of Australia. This is Australia's largest undeveloped gold project. We are talking a world-class gold project in a Tier 1 mining district. This is a large-scale, low-cost project with significant existing infrastructure in a politically safe and friendly mining jurisdiction. Vista Gold just completed the Mount Todd feasibility study, which resulted in a 7 million ounce gold reserve and a 16-year mine life. All of this, combined with the approvals of all major operational as well as environmental permits. This distinguishes Mount Todd as an attractive, de-risk partner, ready development stage gold project. Vista Gold trades on the New York Stock Exchange under the symbol VGZ.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. We got markets open, and you're looking at an S&P right where we started off coming into the opening bell. S&P's up about 32 points right now. Jumping around to what else we had pulled up here. So Asia, overnight, some big numbers. Hong Kong stocks rise more than 2%. Asia markets gain, and you have oil matching that number up to the upside. How about Delta? So Delta, we got a big air show going on. Buys 100 Boeing MAX planes. So Boeing, they're trading higher today. We'll jump over to them. First major order with the manufacturer in more than a decade. The deal for 100 737 MAX 10 planes with an option for 30 more, slated to begin in 2025. It's amazing, right? How long some of those deals have to play out until they actually get delivered for the orders they're placing. Yeah, first order in more than 10 years. The more fuel-efficient MAX planes will replace older Delta narrow-body jets. I wonder where oil is going to be in 2025. They're going to have to wait some time for those better fuel-efficient planes. The order worth $13.5 billion at list prices, but if you buy 100 planes and you guarantee, maybe not guarantee, you have an option for 30 more, you sometimes get a discount, is what they say. But nonetheless, that's a big sale for Boeing. And let's jump over to Boeing shares this morning. Yeah, and there's a pop for you, up 5.1% for Boeing. You jump over to Delta. Delta shares, they're catching a lift as well, up 5.7%. This market drifting up a little bit on the open. All the airlines trading a bit higher. We got American trading up about 4.3%. United Airlines, 4.4%. Domestically, JetBlue's been a headache. They're up 4.4% even this morning. Southwest shares up 2%. Carnival, look at those cruises catching a pop, man. I don't know. I'd be careful with these cruises, man. I was talking to people just socially this weekend. And there's a different mentality about cruises right now until we are completely out of people getting stuck on cruises, or if there's an outbreak, right? It's not even necessarily that you're worried about your own health, that you're comfortable being around people, but being on an enclosed ship where there could be an outbreak and how that could affect your ability to just get off or leave. That's something that worries people. I would see how this trades if it comes into this trend line, which is about $10.40 for a Carnival. You break above there, you break above this recent high that you had at about, what is that, $11, give or take. You get back in there maybe. But boy, if you're putting any money in these stocks, keep in mind that you may just wake up one morning and they may announce that they're going to reorganize in bankruptcy because they have no demand and way too much debt. Very real possibility that happens at some point. Probably not tomorrow, but with all the worries of inflation, that's something that you should keep in mind for sure. All right. Let's jump around to other articles I had up here. Okay, this is a good one. So this is talking about the ECB. So on Thursday, the ECB is going to start hiking rates to the tune of a quarter basis points probably. There's a possibility they could go 50, I guess, but that's only about a 20% chance. All likelihood, ECB starts their rate hikes on Thursday with a quarter basis point. It's been 10 years since they've hiked rates. That is staggering to consider. What the headline says they see a narrowing window for the ECB to hike before it even starts. Okay, you talk about the euro struggling, man. Markets have paired bets on the ECB tightening already, and they haven't even hiked by a quarter basis point, and they haven't hiked in 10 years. Set to persist as possible gas cutoff looms. They got some big issues, man. So here, money market wagers have paired ECB tightening bets since accelerating in June. So in June, they saw 200 basis points of hikes expected by year end. They got up to 191 to be exact. In July, you pulled back to 134, and you're currently sitting at about 156 right now. Now, they mentioned in this article, of course, ECB is already behind the Fed when it comes to rating. The shock from a halt in gas flows and even slower pace of tightening risks dragging the economy, currency to as low as 90 cents. Folks, if you haven't checked out the Tiger Forex report yet, comes out every week. Teddy's got a new issue out this morning. He talked about on my program last week, okay, that 90 in the euro is the number that he put, that he could see it maybe by year end himself. I don't see how it turns around with some of what's going on, okay? In that scenario, UBS see the 10-year bond yields rallying to 0% by year end from 1.1% now, ending their brief foray into positive territory. They're in trouble, man. So here is the euro, all right? You're basically at parity is what this is showing. Medium-term outlook remains firmly bearish as parity is breached. And here's what I want to get. So here's the pace of rate hikes, okay? And really, just what I wanted to point out was the blue on this chart on the bottom, which is the ECB. Okay? Now, think that. What is BOC? Bank of Canada, probably. I think they just hiked pretty dramatically in the teal. You have the ECB in blue across the bottom. You have Bank of Japan in the negative along the bottom as well. Okay? And you got the Bank of England in, what is that, red we'll call it, and then you have the Fed in black. So you have Bank of England, you got the Fed, and you got the Bank of Canada all hiking, as they did in 2018 and 2019, okay? And then you have Bank of Japan, and you got the ECB. So the ECB is currently sitting at negative 50 basis points. They've been sitting in negative territory since 2012. Basically, they were at zero, okay? They were at zero in 2012. They went into the negative in 2014. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. That's staggering to say. And they've been in negative since then. And now they have an energy crisis. And now, as the economy's in trouble, they have to hike rates. Think about that. It's pretty startling when you put it that way. And it's pretty startling seeing it on this chart that they have not hiked in 10 years, man. So you're seeing it play out in terms of the economy in a big way as well. And here's where they mentioned. First hike since 2011, expected to be a quarter point. Money markets also betting on a 20% probability of a half-point increase. Like anything, it's possible. You play the probabilities. The market puts it at 80-20 that they're going to go a quarter basis point. And the remarkable thing is that only gets it to negative 25 basis points. That's just remarkable. That kind of blew my mind. All right. In terms of this article, just want to pull up one chart from it. Charting the global economy, odds received for bigger Fed hike. Boy, I would just keep paying attention to this chart, folks. The Fed's going to be looking at this chart until we get a rollover of any dramatic fashion. Would be hard-pressed for them to pause in any dramatic fashion themselves. CPI, highest in more than 40 years. Change month over month. That's an acceleration, folks, month over month. If you're talking, if that was volume, right? If the bottom bar was volume here and the top bar was price, you would be saying this thing is pushing higher on volume, man. The CPI year over year is pushing higher on a monthly basis. We need to see some real change in there before the Fed slows things down at all. All right, we talked about the euro, talking about potentially 90 cents. Well, investors, they're betting it in a big way. You got a survey out here, traders, investors, and analysts responding. And you put that number, just 16% say Europe will likely manage to dodge an economic downturn over the next 6 months, and 69% betting that the euro is going to slide to 90 cents rather than claw back to 110. Head on over to the front page of TFNN, folks. Check out the Tiger Forex report. Great report by Teddy Kegstad. Enter the code Teddy25. You save 25%. 30-day money-back guarantee. We talk to Teddy every Wednesday at 40 past the hour. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
TFNN has been your trusted source of analysis for bonds, metals, stocks, commodities, and options for years. And we are happy to announce that we are bringing that same caliber of analysis for the Forex market. Teddy Kegstad has 30-plus years of experience in Forex trading, commodity risk management, Forex hedging, volatility, and so much more. Teddy releases his weekly Tiger Forex report every Monday morning with elite coverage of all major currency pairs, including the DXY, Euro dollar, Pound dollar, Aussie dollar yen, dollar Swiss franc, and so much more. Teddy will recommend specific trades when the market presents them and provide updates throughout the week when warranted. For the month of July, inaugural members to the Tiger Forex Report will receive 25% off the monthly subscription for as long as they're subscribed. Just use promo code TEDDY25 to lock in the added savings. This offer is good only for the month of July, so do not miss your opportunity to save on the Tiger Forex Report. TFNN, educating investors.
Technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Will the S&P 500 continue to climb? For bold trades on U.S. large cap stocks in either direction, trade SPXL, SPUU, or SPXS. Directions Daily S&P 500 Bull and Bear Leveraged ETFs. Direction Leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit directioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Welcome back, folks. So we have Google. I believe it's today the first day that Google goes 20 for 1. I believe it is. So Google trading at 112.63. Not sure. It's listed as Friday as well. So I was trying to figure out whether it's today. The reason why it really popped out at me is when you pull up the Market Watch tab on the Thinkorswim platform, everything in the red. You got chip stocks higher, man. NVIDIA up 4.2%. You got Tesla up 3.7% right now. China up, JD.com up 6.5%. AMD up 2.1%. Netflix, their earnings after the bell tomorrow, up 3.3%. But you got Google down 95% is what it says. And I think that's a fact of being 20 for 1 over the weekend. Google now trading at $113, down from over $2,000, much like Amazon. All right, so that's the NASDAQ 100. Microsoft up about 1.2%. You jump over to the S&P 500 to see what's moving. So what do we got? Johnson & Johnson, they're negative. Some of the health stocks negative over here. AbbVie, they're in the red as well. Oil stocks positive as we got crude trading higher. Exxon up 3.5%. Chevron up 3% right now. ConocoPhillips up almost 4%. Banks drifting a little bit higher, maybe on those strong Goldman numbers. JP Morgan up 1.8%. Bank of America on their earnings up 2.9%. Yeah, NVIDIA, a strong one for sure. Tesla, a strong one as they come into their earnings this week as well. Bookings up 3.5%. Travel stocks are higher today, right? Carnival, yeah, look at that little green spot. Carnival up about up 6.8% at 980. All right, jumping over to crude real quick. So crude, you're continuing to rise here. 99.29. We're at a low of 93. You're up $6 from where you were last night, man. We put this thing on a daily. Okay, let's back it up even more, actually. Put it on a 3-year weekly. So check it out. All the way from the doldrums of $6. Now, that's just an arbitrary point, really, on this chart. So I wouldn't really be using it. But check out, folks, okay, where it could head. Just from $6. And I say I wouldn't use that because realistically, as you're rolling the prices of these crude that month, that was, I think, April of 2020. Actually, that's the one that got to negative prices. So it's tough where you'd actually find the bottom on the quote-unquote crude contract because they trade on a monthly basis, and they actually went to a negative. I think it closed out at like negative $38 a barrel, right? Nonetheless, where would that pullback potentially be? $83, which would bring you back to the highs of about October for a 382 retracement. You did get as low as about $90 just last week, but just like that, we're at 99.26. Now, the thing I was going to say is, number one, we're right back to the floor we had in April, okay? That low is $92.93. We stayed above $90, probably a critical area for crude. You catch a bounce to $99.24. The other thing, folks, as someone living in Florida, okay, with kids in the house, I'm stocking up on extra water, as I like to, because it's coming into hurricane season. And if we start getting some hurricanes in the Gulf, man, and we already got crude at $100, okay, that could throw some dislocation into that market in a big way. I'm sure some of that risk premium is in this market with crude at $100, but it was at $130 when nothing had to do with hurricanes potentially disrupting. Now, whether it's crude, whether we're talking gas, whether we're talking refineries, and how that plays out into the actual contract of crude, light sweet crude versus gasoline versus, that crude make it to the refineries, But you got oil rigs out there in the Gulf, folks, okay? And somebody living in Florida, we're coming into late July and August, and they're going to come across, and hopefully we just get lucky. And there's no big ones that make it. Unfortunately, there's probably a couple big ones that do end up somewhere in the Gulf, in Florida, in some capacity. We're very fortunate being on Tampa that usually being on the west side of Florida, that the only way that we potentially get hit, and it's possible, we almost got it, 5 years ago, is it's kind of loop into the Gulf and loop back into our coast. I mean, the Gulf Coast, man, the Panhandle, New Orleans. My dad and I were actually in New Orleans for Hurricane Katrina. Told that story a few times. That's a tough one because the Gulf gets so hot, folks. It is just remarkable how hot the water temperature gets down here in the ocean, in the Gulf in particular, in the middle of August, late August. But we are coming into the time, folks, that it's going to start popping up, unfortunately. So keep that in mind if you're looking for any bearish action in crude. Because as I was thinking about that this morning, you're talking about the next 2 months or so until we get into maybe middle of September, where you might have some cooling going on. But even then, you can get some big storms in the middle of September. So we got about 2 months right now where we're coming into it, late July to the beginning of September, until we get some easing. And that's only going to be an impediment that could send crude even higher, let alone with everything else going on. You got crude trading at 99.09 this morning. S&P is holding up pretty well so far. You're up 33 points. We're 17 minutes into the trading day. Let's see how the VIX trades. VIX still slightly positive, trading at about 25. You're at 24.86. Putting the VIX on a daily, okay, and I'm just zooming in on this year alone to see the highs we've had. We're back to the lows that we were at in early June before you got the quick acceleration to 35. You have the S&P sitting at 3,900. The only time this year, folks, we've had pullbacks, okay, the VIX has only gotten down to 20. You did it for about a month in late March, early April, and you also touched down to that area at the end of January, early February. Besides that, you got one pullback to right where we are right now at about 24 recently. So if I'm looking at the VIX, what's our risk? You could drift higher in the market, which could potentially pull the VIX down to 22 or 24. Okay, but if we get that drift, man, and you get the S&P up to 4,000 or 4,100, and you have a VIX approaching lowest levels we've seen all year, that's an area I would really start to be careful. Because the S&Ps right now, you're almost 300 points off of the lows that we had in June. You're now coming into an area, though, that we topped out at 10 days ago, before trading almost 200 points lower over 4 days. You're also creeping to the area that we were at the end of June, which was an area of about 3,950, and the S&P's right now at 3,900. So we get big earnings this week, okay? And then what do we get next week? We get the main event, man, let's kick it off with some of the companies. Amazon, they're going to be out July 28th, so I believe that's next Thursday. Yes, it is. So Amazon will be out next Thursday. Apple out next Thursday as well. And then Microsoft and Google are next Tuesday, I believe. So Microsoft, yep. So Microsoft and Google on Tuesday, Amazon and Apple on Thursday. Those are the four main events. We get many others as well. And this week, as I said, we get Netflix tomorrow. We get Tesla. We also get American Express. They're out with their numbers, I think, on Friday. Yeah, the 22nd. So American Express, you're looking at about $6.78 move. Let's just see what that move is going to be for these stocks we were talking about. Check out the move on Netflix, man. $28 on a stock that's under $200. You're talking about almost 15%. But look at the lift you're getting today, man. Maybe the market thinks it's paid its dues for a Max Payne scenario down to 173. You're up 4.5% to start the week right now. There's an acceleration for you. You were just trading at 175 on Friday. Looks like you're going to hit 200 on Netflix shares right now this morning. See how Tesla is ahead of their numbers. Tesla up 4%. Some of those growth stocks that have gotten hammered are trading higher today. I saw Roku is higher as well. There's Roku up 6.7%. Man, you're up $6 to 91.70. Look at these stocks. Let's see how ARK is trading. Yeah, up 4%, I would imagine. Zoom shares up 2.1% so far this morning. What else? Teladoc up 2.2%. Let's see how those banks are trading on their numbers as we come into the last break of the show. Goldman, they're up 3.6, but they trade lower, man. They're off $7 from where they were this morning. Bank of America up 1.5%. S&P's up 37. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back to finish up the program.
TFNN has just launched their new trading room, the Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. And now they are expanding their reach with the Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. In the Tiger's Den, you can look over the shoulders of Tom O'Brien and the other TFNN hosts while they analyze charts during their live Tiger TV programs, and join an interactive trading community with hundreds of members exchanging ideas. Interact with other tigers and tigresses as they share trading ideas, news analysis, and discuss the market action all trading day, even at night and on the weekends. The Tiger's Den at Discord is accessible on mobile or tablets as well, so it's always at your reach. To sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders, just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Everything in the universe is governed by the Fibonacci sequence. This mathematical principle is responsible for everything from the most aesthetically pleasing artwork to patterns in the stock market. To stay on top of stock patterns you can take advantage of, sign up for the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter at TFNN.com. When you subscribe, you'll get a weekly report from veteran day trader Larry Pesavento on stocks you need to pay attention to. And you can trust Larry's analysis. After all, he's got 45 years experience as a day trader. Larry will also provide daily charts, videos, and data on the key markets that he's tracking. Expect notifications from Larry on market movement you need to act on at any time. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. Subscribe to the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter today. TFNN.com, educating investors.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. We got the S&Ps right now. You're up 36 points. That's almost a full percent. You're trading at 39.02. You get the NASDAQ 100 up 1.3%. The Dow right now up 0.9%. How about the Russell up 1.6%? Head on over to the front page at TFNN.com, folks. Please check out the Tiger Forex report. This deal only runs through July, so less than a couple weeks left. You can use code TEDDY25. You save 25% off the normal price of only $97. So that brings you down to $72.75, and it comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. If after 30 days you don't think it's worth $72.75, you get your money back, you cancel. And I think you'll get value over that report over that month either way, folks. He puts out a great report. What's happening right now with currencies, what's happening with crude, what's happening with notes and bonds, in particular, interest rates, all very important for how these markets are moving. All right, I'm going to jump to a couple of cool stories. Not really tradable, but nonetheless interesting. Brain-computer interface startup implants first device in U.S. patient. Pretty amazing. And hopefully this works out, especially for these ALS patients that are kicking things off. So you have an ALS patient that had basically a computer chip inserted into its brain, and it's going to help them text by thinking, in a major step forward in a nascent industry, with the Brooklyn-based company recently overtaking Elon Musk's Neuralink. So On July 6th, this happened at Mount Sinai West Medical Center in New York. It's a 1.5-inch long implant made up of wires and electrodes into a blood vessel in the brain to help a patient with ALS. The hope is the patient has no ability to move or speak, and by interacting with the brain that they'll be able to surf the web and communicate via email and text simply by thinking. Think how life-changing something like that will be. Absolutely remarkable. So that just happened, and this study is going to be 6 individuals. It's going to happen Mount Sinai Medical Center in New York, and then they'll go from there. Pretty cool. All right, and we jump to a little bit more cash in terms of the market and finance. Talked about poker last weekend, and Espen Jorstad won the World Series of Poker main event for $10 million. Second place, not bad, $6 million for the runner-up finisher. Pretty cool. Nonetheless, World Series of Poker, $10 million. Stay tuned, folks. We have Basil out on vacation this week. We are going to have some guest hosts, just not today. But after Basil, we got live programming. Have a great Monday, everybody.
Building wealth trading in the stock market seems impossible to most people. They think it's too volatile and risky. Most people aren't going to take the time to educate themselves on how to